I know the love between you and your spouse feels dead, but I specialize in resurrecting what others call impossible. The flame that went out is about to be rekindled. The heart that closed is about to reopen. Your marriage will be healed. I know you're here because something precious has been dying in your home. Maybe it's been happening slowly, like a fire that gradually runs out of fuel until only cold ashes remain. Or perhaps it happened suddenly, one betrayal, one devastating fight, one moment that changed everything between you and the person you promised to love forever. You remember when you couldn't imagine life without them. When their voice was the first thing you wanted to hear in the morning and the last thing you needed before sleep. When their laugh could change your entire day. When their touch could heal any hurt. When their presence made everything else fade into the background. But now you might go days without a real conversation. You share a bed, but you're sleeping in different worlds. You eat at the same table, but you're starving for connection. You live in the same house, but it feels like you're strangers. Roommates who happen to share a last name and some bills. Maybe you've tried everything: counseling, date nights, compromise, communication techniques. Maybe you've had the big conversations, made the promises, attempted the fresh starts. But here you are, wondering if love can really come back from the dead. If a heart can be healed after it's been shattered. If a marriage can be restored after it's been broken. Today, I want to tell you something that will change everything. Love doesn't die. It just gets buried under hurt, disappointment, and misunderstanding. And I am the expert at resurrection. My dear child, before I show you how I'm going to heal your marriage, I want you to understand why the love feels dead. Because recognizing what killed it is the first step to bringing it back to life. Love didn't die from one big event, it died from 1,000 small deaths. Every time harsh words were spoken instead of kind ones. Every time you chose to be right instead of choosing to be loving. Every time you went to bed angry, ate dinner in silence, walked past each other without acknowledgement. Each small disconnection was like removing one log from the fire until eventually there wasn't enough fuel to keep the flame alive. You didn't plan to let love die, you just stopped feeding it, stopped protecting it, stopped nurturing it. Love died from unmet expectations that turned into resentment. You expected your spouse to know your needs without you expressing them. You expected them to change in ways they weren't ready or able to change. You expected them to love you the way you wanted to be loved without teaching them how. When those expectations went unmet, disappointment moved in. When disappointment wasn't addressed, it grew into frustration. When frustration wasn't resolved, it hardened into resentment. And resentment is like poison to love. It slowly kills everything beautiful in its path. Love died from pride that refused to apologize and forgive. Someone had to be right, someone had to win, someone had to have the last word. Both of you dug trenches of righteousness and refused to cross the battlefield to reach for each other. Pride convinced you that apologizing first meant admitting total defeat. Pride whispered that forgiving meant condoning bad behavior. Pride built walls where bridges should have been built, created distance where closeness should have been cultivated. Love died from comparison that made you both feel inadequate. You compared your marriage to other couples who seemed happier, more romantic, more connected. You compared your spouse to other people's partners who seemed more attentive, more successful, more attractive. Comparison stole your gratitude for what you had while creating longing for what others appeared to have. It made you focus on what was missing instead of what was present, what was broken instead of what was still beautiful. Love died from busyness that prioritized everything except each other. Work became more important than relationship. Children's schedules became more urgent than couple time. Social media connections became more engaging than marital conversation. You became excellent at managing everything except the most important relationship in your life. You scheduled everything except time for each other. You invested energy into everything except the love that was supposed to be your foundation. Love died from unhealed wounds that infected the relationship. Past hurts that were never properly addressed. Childhood traumas that shaped how you approached intimacy. Previous relationship patterns that you brought into this marriage without even realizing it. These wounds created reactions that had nothing to do with your spouse but everything to do with your history. They triggered responses that confused both of you and created conflicts that neither of you understood. But here's what I need you to understand. None of these things actually killed your love. They just buried it under layers of hurt, disappointment, and misunderstanding. The love is still there, waiting to be uncovered, waiting to be healed, waiting to be restored. Let me show you evidence that the love in your marriage isn't dead. It's just hidden, dormant, waiting for the right conditions to come back to life. The love is still there in the way you still notice when they're hurting. Even when you're angry with them, even when you're not speaking, something in you still registers when they're in pain. You might not respond to it the way you used to, but you still see it. That awareness is love refusing to die. The love is still there in how their opinion of you still matters. If love was truly dead, you wouldn't care what they thought about you, wouldn't be affected by their approval or disapproval. But their words still have power to either wound you or heal you because part of your heart is still connected to them. The love is still there in your willingness to keep trying. If love was completely gone, you would have walked away without looking back. But you're here, listening to this message, hoping for healing, believing for restoration. That hope is evidence that love is alive somewhere in your spirit. The love is still there in the memories that still make you smile. When you remember your wedding day, your first apartment, that vacation when everything was perfect, that joke that only the two of you understood, if love was dead, those memories would bring no warmth. But they do, because love created those moments and love still treasures them. The love is still there in how you talk about them to others. Even when you're frustrated, even when you're complaining, you still defend them when others criticize them too harshly. You still feel protective of them, still want good things for them, still see their potential even when you can't see your future together. The love is still there in the way you dream about what could be. Late at night, when the defenses are down and the heart speaks honestly, you still wish things were different. You still imagine conversations where understanding happens, moments where connection returns, seasons where love flourishes again. The love is still there in your prayers for each other. Even when you can't talk to them, you still talk to me about them. You pray for their happiness, their success, their healing. You pray for wisdom in your relationship, for breakthrough in your connection, for restoration of what you once had. The love is still there because I put it there, and what I create doesn't easily die. When I brought you together, I didn't just unite two people. I created a spiritual bond that transcends circumstances, emotions, and even behavior. That bond can be damaged, neglected, ignored, but it cannot be completely destroyed unless you deliberately and permanently choose to sever it. The love you're missing isn't gone, it's just wounded, and wounded love can be healed. Now let me show you exactly how I heal marriages, because my methods are different from human methods, my timeline is different from your timeline, and my results are different from anything counseling or self-help can achieve. First, I heal marriages by healing hearts individually before healing the relationship corporately. Most people try to fix the marriage while ignoring the individual wounds that created the marriage problems. But I work from the inside out. I start by healing your childhood wounds that affect how you give and receive love. I address your insecurities that create jealousy, control, and fear in your relationship. I restore your identity so you can love from wholeness instead of neediness. When two healed people come together, they create a healed relationship. When two broken people try to fix their relationship while remaining broken individually, they just create more brokenness. Second, I heal marriages by restoring communication from the heart instead of just improving techniques for talking. Communication problems aren't usually about not knowing how to speak. They're about not feeling safe to speak honestly. I create safety in your relationship by healing the trust that's been broken, removing the fear of judgment that causes hiding, and restoring the respect that makes authentic conversation possible. When hearts feel safe, words flow naturally. When hearts feel valued, sharing becomes easy. When hearts feel heard, communication becomes connection instead of conflict. Third, I heal marriages by changing how you see each other instead of just trying to change how you treat each other. Behavior flows from perception. If you see your spouse as your enemy, you'll treat them defensively. If you see them as your greatest disappointment, you'll treat them with contempt. I restore the vision you once had of each other. I help you see your spouse through my eyes, as someone I love deeply, someone with unlimited potential, someone worthy of honor and respect. I remind you of why you fell in love with them in the first place and show you new reasons to fall in love with them again. Fourth, I heal marriages by teaching you to love each other the way I love you, unconditionally, consistently, and sacrificially. Human love is conditional. I'll love you if you make me happy, if you meet my needs, if you behave the way I want. Divine love is unconditional. I love you because I choose to love you, regardless of how you perform, regardless of whether you deserve it, regardless of how you respond to my love. When you learn to love your spouse with my kind of love, their behavior doesn't determine your love. Their mistakes don't diminish your commitment. Their weaknesses don't reduce your respect. Fifth, I heal marriages by removing the spiritual forces that work against unity and introducing spiritual forces that promote harmony. Every marriage faces spiritual warfare, forces of division, confusion, temptation, and destruction that work against the union I created. I bind the spirits of pride, unforgiveness, lust, and selfishness that create problems in your relationship. I release spirits of love, joy, peace, and understanding that create the atmosphere where love can flourish. Sixth, I heal marriages by restoring physical and emotional intimacy gradually and naturally. Intimacy can't be forced or rushed, but it can be invited and cultivated. I heal the wounds that make vulnerability feel dangerous. I restore the trust that makes openness feel safe. I renew the desire that makes closeness feel natural again. Seventh, I heal marriages by giving you a vision for your future together that's bigger and better than your past. Instead of just trying to get back to where you were, I show you possibilities you've never imagined. I reveal purposes you can fulfill together that you could never accomplish alone. I show you ways you can impact others through your healed marriage, dreams you can pursue as a team, legacy you can build as partners. The healing I bring to your marriage won't just restore what was broken. It will create something more beautiful than what you had before. I want to give you specific signs to watch for so you'll recognize when your marriage healing has begun, because I want you to cooperate with what I'm doing instead of missing it or resisting it. Sign number one of you will begin to soften first. The walls that have been built will start to come down, not because of arguments or demands, but because my spirit is working in someone's heart. Pride will begin to crack, defensiveness will start to melt, and compassion will begin to emerge. This might look like unexpected kindness, unprompted apology, or simply the absence of the usual harshness. Don't dismiss these small changes as insignificant. They're evidence that the resurrection process has begun. Sign number 2. Conversations will begin to happen that haven't happened in months or years. Topics that were too dangerous to discuss will feel safer to approach. Questions that were too threatening to ask will start to be voiced. Feelings that were too vulnerable to share will begin to be expressed. These conversations might be awkward at first, but they're like physical therapy for your relationship. Uncomfortable but necessary for healing. Sign number 3. You'll start remembering why you fell in love. Memories that have been buried under hurt will begin to surface. Qualities you stopped seeing will become visible again. Reasons you chose each other will start to feel relevant again. This isn't nostalgia. It's restoration of vision. I'm helping you see what was always true but got obscured by pain. 7th, I heal marriages by giving you a vision for your future together that's bigger and better than your past. Instead of just trying to get back to where you were, I show you possibilities you've never imagined. I reveal purposes you can fulfill together that you could never accomplish alone. I show you ways you can impact others through your healed marriage, dreams you can pursue as a team, legacy you can build as partners. The healing I bring to your marriage won't just restore what was broken. It will create something more beautiful than what you had before. While I'm working supernaturally to heal your marriage, there are specific things I need you to do to cooperate with the healing process and position yourself to receive everything I want to give you. First, stop trying to change your spouse and start working on changing yourself. You can't heal your marriage by fixing your partner. You can only heal your marriage by becoming the person I've called you to be in this relationship. Focus on your own attitudes, your own responses, your own growth. Work on your communication, your emotional health, your spiritual maturity. When you change, the dynamics of your relationship automatically change. Second, begin praying for your spouse instead of complaining about them. Every minute you spend talking to others about your spouse's faults is a minute you could spend talking to me about their healing. Pray for their happiness, their success, their emotional health, their spiritual growth. Pray blessings over their life instead of rehearsing their failures. Pray for your own ability to love them well instead of demanding that they love you better. Third, start looking for things to appreciate instead of things to criticize. Your brain finds what it's looking for. If you're looking for evidence that your spouse doesn't care, you'll find it. If you're looking for evidence that they do care, you'll find that too. Make a conscious decision to notice efforts, kindnesses, improvements, and positive qualities. Express appreciation for small things. Acknowledge progress even when it's not perfect. Fourth, choose to speak life into your marriage instead of death. Stop saying things like, "Our marriage is hopeless. We'll never change. This will never work." Those words have power to create the reality you're describing. Instead, start declaring things like, "Our marriage is being healed. We're growing stronger. Love is being restored." Speak your future, not your past. Fifth, create opportunities for connection instead of waiting for connection to happen accidentally. Plan time together without distractions. Initiate conversations about topics that matter. Suggest activities you can enjoy together. Don't wait for your spouse to create the romance, plan the dates, or initiate the intimacy. Be part of the solution instead of just hoping for the solution. Sixth, forgive quickly and completely instead of collecting offenses. When your spouse hurts you, disappoints you, or frustrates you, deal with it quickly instead of adding it to the pile of previous grievances. Forgiveness isn't saying what they did was okay. It's saying you won't let what they did poison your heart or pollute your future. Seventh, invest in your own emotional and spiritual health. You can't give what you don't have. If you're emotionally empty, spiritually depleted, or mentally exhausted, you have nothing left to contribute to your marriage. Take care of yourself so you have something valuable to offer your relationship. Get the counseling you need, develop the friendships that support you, pursue the interests that energize you. Eighth, be patient with the process and trust my timing. Marriage healing doesn't happen overnight, it happens in seasons. There will be good days and difficult days, breakthroughs and setbacks, progress and plateaus. Don't give up during the difficult seasons. Don't assume nothing is happening when you can't see obvious progress. Trust that I'm working even when the work is invisible to you. I want to paint you a picture of what your marriage will look like when my healing is complete, because I want you to have something beautiful to hope for and work toward. Your healed marriage will be characterized by safety instead of fear. You'll be able to share your thoughts without fear of judgment, express your feelings without fear of rejection, admit your mistakes without fear of condemnation. Your home will become a sanctuary where both of you can be authentic, vulnerable, and real. You'll create an environment where growth is encouraged, grace is abundant, and love is unconditional. Your healed marriage will be marked by partnership instead of competition. Instead of fighting against each other, you'll fight for each other. Instead of trying to win arguments, you'll work to find solutions. Instead of keeping score, you'll work as a team. You'll celebrate each other's successes without jealousy, support each other's dreams without selfishness, and face challenges together without blame. Your healed marriage will be filled with laughter instead of tension. Joy will return to your home. Humor will become part of your connection again. Lightness will replace the heaviness that has characterized your relationship. You'll enjoy each other's company again, look forward to time together, and find pleasure in simple moments of connection. Your healed marriage will include physical intimacy that flows from emotional intimacy. As your hearts connect, your bodies will naturally want to connect too. Physical affection will become a natural expression of the love you feel instead of an obligation you perform. Your healed marriage will be a source of strength instead of stress. Instead of draining you, your relationship will energize you. Instead of complicating your life, it will simplify it. Instead of adding problems, it will provide solutions. You'll face life's challenges together, knowing that whatever comes, you have a partner who will stand with you, fight for you. Your healed marriage will become a testimony that encourages others. People will see the transformation in your relationship and ask what happened. Your marriage will become evidence that healing is possible, that love can be restored, that broken relationships can be made beautiful again. You'll be able to encourage other couples who are struggling, offering hope based on your own experience of restoration. Your healed marriage will fulfill purposes you never imagined. Together, you'll accomplish things you could never accomplish alone. You'll impact lives, serve causes, and build legacies that require the strength of partnership. Your healed marriage will be better than your first marriage to each other because it will be built on wisdom instead of just emotion, on choice instead of just feelings, on commitment instead of just attraction. My beloved child, as we end today, I want you to carry this truth in your heart. Your marriage is not beyond my ability to heal, and love is not beyond my power to restore. What looks impossible to you is just another day at the office for me. What seems too broken to fix is exactly the kind of challenge I specialize in. What feels too far gone to save is the perfect candidate for resurrection. I have healed marriages that everyone said were hopeless. I have restored love that everyone said was dead. I have reunited hearts that everyone said were incompatible. And I'm about to do the same thing in your marriage. The love you're missing isn't gone. It's just buried under hurt, disappointment, and misunderstanding. The connection you're craving isn't impossible. It's just waiting for the right conditions to flourish again. Your marriage healing begins today. Not next week when you feel more hopeful. Not next month when circumstances improve. Not next year when you've tried everything else. Today, as you choose to believe that restoration is possible. Today, as you decide to work on yourself instead of just trying to change your spouse. Today, as you begin to pray blessings instead of complaints. Today, as you start speaking life instead of death over your relationship. The resurrection of your marriage starts with the resurrection of hope in your heart. I'm asking you to believe for something you can't yet see, hope for something you haven't yet experienced, and work towards something that doesn't yet exist in your reality. But I promise you this. If you'll trust me with your marriage, I'll show you what healed love looks like. If you'll give me access to your heart, I'll give you access to miracles you never thought possible. If you'll cooperate with my healing process, I'll create something beautiful from what feels broken. Your marriage will be healed because I am the God who specializes in resurrection, and I never give up on love. Start believing it. Start declaring it. Start living like it's already happening. Because it is. Amen.